Model Making Guru is sponsored by emodels.co.uk, your one-stop shop for all your model making needs. emodels.co.uk. Make something awesome. Hey everyone, it's Foxx from Model Making Guru here. Hello and welcome to another episode of my Warhammer Conquest series, in which I'll be following all 80 issues of the Hachette Warhammer Conquest partworks. Now, if you remember the last video, I explained that I've got piles of these things building up in my spare room because I've not had time to do any of these with all the current big projects going on. So what I'm doing is, for this and the next few videos, I'll be doing quick overviews of the packs I've received month on month, seeing what comes with them, what's in the magazines, what plastic do we get. Then I can file them all away, get all the sprues ready, get all the bits I need off to one side, other things put away in the binders, and do the buildy part of all the plastic on Warhammer Sundays. And then when all my big major projects are out of the way, I can crack on getting back into doing the painty guides for you guys. So for this episode, we're going to be looking at issues 23, 24, 25 and 26. Let's get these ready and we'll take a look and see. Okay, starting on issue 23, we have, it's the usual layout, lots of fluff, instructions, and then some gameplay stuff. We have a bit of information about the organisation of Space Marine chapters, background on the demons of chaos. They will only cease their attacks when reality has been ripped apart, it says. We have some blurb on the hierarchy of the Imperium. Now, it's not a complete look, but it gives you most of, I wouldn't say departments is the right word, but it gives you a feel for the different sort of branches of the Imperium. It doesn't include everything, but it's got quite a lot. Then we have this wonderful little article here, only 2 pages, about Nurglings. I love Nurglings. They're so adorable. They're a lot cuter in plastic than they are when they're actually painted. These look terrifying. Nurglings on the models always look a bit comedic and a bit cute. It says Nurglings are the most common of Nurgle's demons. Each individual Nurgling may be weak, but they gather in vast swarms, giggling as they nip at their victims. Many mighty heroes have met an embarrassing end beneath a squealing heap of Nurglings. I like Nurglings. They're so adorable. Then we have some blurb about historical battles, background fluff, and then we get on to the buildy for this month's or this issue's stuff. And in this one we get lots of battlefield accessories like tank traps and ammo boxes, more barrels, and some other bits and bobs. So it takes you through building those and painting those, which obviously we'll get to in a separate episode. That's not the right word. Episode. Then we have, basically, we're getting into the gameplay there, where we get into some rituals. Now, there's not a lot, obviously, new stuff in here because you're using the same models we've used before. We're just building scenery here, but it's got some more gameplay missions for you. And that is issue 23. Next up, we have issue 24. Now, 24 and 25 are going to be really interesting because this is where we get our first non-dude model. This is where we get, well, obviously we've had scenery. We start getting the bits for a dreadnought. Yes, a Redemptor dreadnought. So the next 2 magazines, this one and the next one, are going to be completely focused for the most part on dreadnoughts. So all I need to tell you is go and read them. They're quite interesting. Lots and lots of fluff on dreadnoughts and Hellbrutes, which are the chaos version of dreadnoughts. If you want to know what a dreadnought is, it's basically a coffin for a Space Marine, but he's in there and he's kind of alive in there, and he can be in there and operate this thing. When he's near to death, they stick him in here, he's linked to it, he lives there forever. You can't take him out, he'll die, but he's kind of in there and he can be in here for hundreds or even technically thousands of years, only woken up from their slumber when they're needed in battle. So basically, think of it like a Gundam, but imagine you're at death's door and you're put in the cockpit of a Gundam as your life support machine and your coffin in one, and you can't be taken out of it, and you're just merged with it with your breath. Yeah, it's grimdark is the word for Warhammer. We have a bit more fluff and background on historical battles, and then we have, in this episode, or this issue, I really can't stop saying episode when I mean issue. In this issue, it shows you how to build the Redemptor Dreadnought. However, you only receive 1 sprue with this. The next issue is where you get the rest of the sprues. You get 2 sprues, although I got mine split. These 2 were split. So, You only got this one with this issue. The next issue you'll get these two, and this is the instructions on how to build it. Then we're on to the gameplay section. It's interesting here, they give you like a map of the area, and you can mark off which objectives you've captured in the coming missions, because they give you some infiltration missions, so you can tally off which of you and your opponent has won which areas as you go through them. So they're looking at infiltration missions here with your Reavers and seeing how they come on, and that looks quite interesting. So that is issue 24. Next up, of course, is issue 25, and yes, you guessed it, it's more Dreadnought stuff. You get the remaining sprues to make your Redemptor Dreadnought, and of course it's chock full of more historical fluff about Dreadnoughts. Things like the Contemptor Dreadnought, which is the ancient Horus Heresy era Dreadnoughts that you don't often see much around anymore in the fluff. Ironclad Dreadnoughts, which are the heavy, sort of heavy armour, heavy lifting, close quarters, let's just walk into a building and destroy it kind of Dreadnoughts. And then a blurb on the weapons. We have a little bit about chaos, but you know, this is mostly about Dreadnoughts. Then we get to the bit here in this issue, which is painting your Dreadnought. Now keep in mind, this is the how to paint your Dreadnought the magazine way. We're not going to do that. When we get this Dreadnought, we're going to paint this properly. This will have a standalone how to paint this like a grown-up episode, not a how to paint it like the magazine, because frankly it looks alright, but it looks really basic and not that interesting. We can do a lot more to this Dreadnought when we paint it. That's what they have it looking at the end. Yeah, we can do better than that. We'll get it more like this, but maybe not that clean. This will have a standalone episode when we paint ours. Of course, we don't have any decals, but we don't know what's happening. And again, like some of the other magazines, it does say here, it says, here it is, you're finished now. They've started doing this in these issues. It shows the completed paint job, but it doesn't say we'll return to this later. It just says, there you go, there's your model. Now, I don't know. There are somewhere it says that, and they will be returned to later. So remains to be seen if this is as far as this goes, or if that's it, or if we have more to come back to. I don't know. So we'll see. Then, of course, we have the gameplay section, which is looking at how to incorporate your Dreadnought into gameplay itself. It's got a couple of introductory missions just to get you used to it, like one Dreadnought against a few Death Guard, hardly evenly matched, and then lots of more information so you can go off and play it yourself. So that is issue 25. And last up, of course, we have issue 26, which is plastic free for this issue, but we get a couple of paints with this one. So it's mostly fluff in here. We've got some more information about the age of the Imperium and the scouring that comes in the 31st millennium, just after the Horus Heresy. There's lots of background information. In fact, I don't think they're going to have a problem filling these magazines, 80 issues, these magazines with fluff and lore, because you know what? There is so much fluff and lore for Warhammer. It's insane. It makes Halo look like a quick scribble on a post-it note, and Halo's got some incredibly deep lore and other things with massive, deep backstories. Stuff is insane. We have lots of information on the Calcitrix Maledictum. We have blurb on the Great Unclean Ones, which you don't get any with this set, but the Great Unclean Ones, they are some incredibly large and fantastic models. They're just big, fat, bloaty dudes with stuff and ooze and guts. Oh, they're great fun to paint, I would imagine. I can't wait to paint one of those one day. You don't get any with this set, but they're like the bosses for the Chaos side. Oh yeah, they're great. Some information. This is an interesting section here about Death Guard possessors. Some Death Guard actually allow themselves to be possessed by demons, not all of them, but some, and it's quite interesting when it talks about how that process works, because it doesn't always come out that great for, in fact, it never comes out well for the person that's being possessed, even if they do it voluntarily. So it is quite fascinating. Then we have a section on Reboot Gulliman, who is the potentially last surviving loyalist Primarch of the Imperium. He's son of the Emperor, not literally the son of the Emperor, but son of the Emperor. And yeah, he unfortunately is the Primarch of the Ultramarines, who are the most overplayed, the most overused, the most overfluffed faction of Space Marines. If you're going to build your own faction that isn't anything to do with this magazine, for the love of dog, do something that's not Ultramarines. If you're doing this magazine, yeah, you're kind of stuck with Ultramarines if you want to follow the magazine. But that poster we got in the last episode, go through that, look at a colour scheme that looks interesting, and build them. Don't do Ultramarines. I don't know. They're kind of the Ford of the Space Marine world. This is Blood Angels. There you go. Blood Angels, much more interesting faction than Ultramarines. Then we go through the products that we receive in this issue. We get some Abaddon Black, but we also get Reichland Flesh Shade, which is a great shade for, strangely enough, for skin tones, but some other bits and bobs. And it gets you going back through some of the stuff you've already built to apply the Reichland Flesh Shade. Again, Some of these things we'll be doing separate paint jobs on, so we'll follow the magazine where it's appropriate, but for some of them we will do our own stuff later on, so we won't be doing all of this. And then we have some more missions and that to use your dreadnought and all the bits you've made so far. So that is issue 26. Let's have a look now at what comes with this month's issues. Now, there's not a great deal of plastic that comes with these issues compared to other ones, but we do get, first of all, with issue 23, we get these extra sort of battlefield scenery items. We have some tank traps, we have some more Promethean barrels, we'll be having to fill those seams, more tank traps, and we have, this is like a pallet, so think of it like a pallet, and some ammo crates, and this tube device here that I've forgotten what that is. It's more of the lovely brown chocolatey plastic, although it doesn't seem to be quite as thick and dense as the ones we've had for previous scenery items. It's more of the brown plastic, and it's just simply scenery items, nice and detailed as always. We're going to have some fun building them, nice and simple, probably simple paint jobs. We can get some weathering going on there. So that's issue 23. Next up we have the Dreadnought sprues that come in issues 24 and 25. Now, like I say, the magazine says that issue 25 sprue is just one big sprue, but mine actually came as two separate ones. They probably do that just to fit it on the front of the magazine, so don't panic if you get two. But yes, this is all the parts for the Dreadnought, and it is really, really nice. Again, it's that weird, not quite Games Workshop plastic, so it's buttery yet brittle. But as always, it's got this wonderful, lovely, crisp detail. Now, this is the first non sort of figure vehicle that we've got, and it's going to be great fun to paint, because up to now I've been painting figures and a little bit of scenery. And one thing you might have picked up on from the ammo crates and from the container storage containers is that these models are designed, especially when they're more than figures, they are designed to be absolutely friendly to brush painting, and with all these big fat crisp details, they are going to be an absolute joy to paint. Look at that. All the scroll work on there, and oh, that's nice upside down. Oh, it's really nice. So that is going to be an absolute joy to paint. So to paint this the way the magazine suggests is a travesty, because it's dead simple. We're going to paint it much more interestingly. We'll get a bit more depth, a lot more wear and tear perhaps, because these things can be hundreds or even 1,000 or 2,000 years old. Maybe not these ones, because these ones are kind of a relatively new invention in the Imperium. The Redemptor Dreadnoughts are a new pattern that's only recent, so maybe not too weathered. If it was a Contemptor, that could be 1,000 years old, so we would weather the living crap out of that. This one will do some weathering, not too much, but it's seen battle. It's been in battle, man. There's been fighting. It's got damage, so we'll make it look interesting. But yes, absolutely beautiful plastic in there. Going to look forward to building that very, very much. I forgot to mention that also comes with a base for the Dreadnought. That's going to be quite good fun. There's a lot of potential there for a nice little diorama base with your texture paints and other bits and bobs. And because we're going to do an advanced paint job, I think we'll do an advanced basing job on that one as well. Now, issue 26, we get no plastic, but we do get two paints. Yes, you can see my numbering scheme here, so I know what comes from where. We get a replacement Abaddon black, because if you follow the magazine, you would have actually painted one of those big storage containers black, and that would have used up a lot of your black by now. I've got tons left of mine because I didn't do that. But yes, you get a spare Abaddon black, and you also get one of my favourite shades, which is Reitland Flesh Shade. This is specifically designed to be a shade for skin tones, specifically for Caucasian skin tones, let's be honest. It's a nice, I don't want to open it, but it's a nice warm, slightly purpley, slightly reddy, russety shade. It's a bit like Agrak Surshade, but with a hint more blue and purple to it. But it's not just useful for flesh, it is brilliant for flesh. You put it over Bugman's Glow and it gives some depth, and then you build up the colours on top of that. But it's also great as a rusty tone and a dirty, earthy tone, and you can get lots of uses for this. It's good for things like creamy coloured fabrics. When you don't want Agrak Surshade that looks a bit dirty, this is good for sort of creamy fabrics. So we're going to have a lot of fun with that. And that is everything that comes with the issues. And so there we have it, issues 23, 24, 25 and 26. Like the previous batch, a goodly haul, not quite as goodly a haul, because we don't get any extra premium subscription goodies for this particular batch, but that doesn't matter. We've got a Redemptor Dreadnought, and as I hope you'll see when it comes to me doing a painting video for this, you're going to get, if you paint this properly, you could get a good week of painting out of just this one model. If you're really careful and detailed, you could spend a whole week painting that. So some of these things you'll get like 2 or 3 figures and you've painted them in a day. This, with your terrain pieces and your Dreadnought, you can get a good week maybe more painting out of all of these. So a good haul for this issue, even though it's not a massive amount of plastic. But that's going to do us, so thank you very much. Remember, of course, there'll be more of these quick overlook episodes, purely like I said, so I can reduce down my pile of big plastic bags with all the sprues in. You can see here my numbering scheme, I'm numbering everything. What I'm basically doing is I've got a big box, and in the box I'll have all the sprues that I've unpacked numbered, so I know which magazine they come with, all the paints, and I will very slowly on Warhammer Sundays work my way through getting all the things built. And then once my other big projects, the big Sazabi and the Perfect Grade Millennium Falcon, once they're done and out of the way, I can dive back into doing the painting videos for you guys, and we can start getting these painted up, either following the magazine or doing proper professional paint jobs like for this puppy here. So stay tuned, there'll be another couple of these, well, 2, 3 maybe, I'm not sure how many piles I've got now, I've got quite a few building up, 2 or 3 more of these over the next few days, and then in the coming weeks we'll get some more painting videos. So it just remains for me to say again, thank you for watching, take care of yourselves, do go do something awesome, do go make something awesome. I messed up my own ending, I'm an idiot, I can't even remember my own lines. Go make something awesome, go be awesome, you there, wiggly finger, that's what I do, remember it, Fox. And until next time I will say, I need to go and drink more coffee. Adios amoebas.